This is the fifth and final time I'm trying to do these shows. Doing it live, it just won't fucking record. So I got Baby Recorder hooked up. I was lazy before and I didn't have my little task cam hooked up. So hopefully this will alleviate all that. I do know that it's going to record the songs and clips on the backup, but I'm not sure if it's going to record my voice. So we'll have to figure out what we got to do. But this time I'm pretty confident that the show will be recorded in live. Only when I'm out back in.
Whatever it was, you don't have to
That clip's pretty interesting. You have to do with poor kids not getting school lunches in schools, and I think Utah throwing it away.
Utah. It's called
No Money, No Soup for You.
Elementary. And a group of 40 students had their lunches taken away and then thrown into the trash because there were outstanding balances on their school lunch accounts, as reported by the Salt Lake Tribune. Erica Lukes, who is a parent of one of the students, told the newspaper, "It's despicable. These are young children that shouldn't be punished or humiliated for something parents obviously need to clear up." Lukes' daughter is a 5th grader, Sophia Isom, told KSL-TV that a district employee took her lunch, took it away from her, and said, "Go get a milk." Sophia recalled, "I came back and asked what's going on. Then she handed me an orange. She said, 'You don't have any money in your account, so you can't get lunch.'" Eventually, after obvious and deserved outrage from the parents, the Salt Lake City District put up an apology and somewhat of an explanation on Facebook, saying that there was a child nutrition manager who went to the school to investigate the large number of students with negative balances in their school lunch accounts. And then they began calling parents and just pulling lunches and throwing away and throwing them into the trash. This is traumatic. You're a kid and you get lunch. You don't really understand what the system is. I remember when I was in elementary school, I was lucky enough that I could afford the school lunch, which at the time I think was like $2.50. I didn't really understand there was the discounted lunch program, there was free lunch. My parents would prepay for the lunch, and then I would get lunch tickets, but some kids brought cash. And what happens if you don't have it? If one day my parents just didn't pay it, and the lunch was taken from me and thrown into the trash, I'm not understanding that the way an adult understands that. That's incredibly traumatic, and it would have not been my fault in any way. And this is just a completely horrible way to further traumatize children around issues of income and to further divide, rather, to traumatize over a class division, which may not even really be a class division. It may just have been some kind of oversight.
Right, and in what situation in general does it make sense to throw a perfectly good food that's already been handed to someone into the garbage?
It's almost like saying the garbage is more deserving of this food than you are because of something you probably don't even understand regarding your parents and sending in a check. It's absolutely disgusting. The explanation it leaves quite a bit to be desired.
Pure disgusting.
And this
next clip deals with if music can help athletic performance. I know it can definitely wake you up and motivate
plenty
you.
Plenty of resources for everybody to have.
GoldenDebateShow, Fifth time's a charm.
Music can really set a mood. A little classical or jazz might relax your whole body, while pop or rock music can get your blood pumping for a night out on the town. But if music can seemingly enhance a mindset or help you resist mental fatigue, can it also affect athletic performance? The term synchronous music refers to uptempo songs with a strong beat that coincide with the repetitive movements of a sport. And it's this type of music that leads to a higher work output in athletes, particularly in sports that involve endurance with rhythmic or repetitive movements such as cross-country skiing. This was put into practice as Haile Gebrselassie famously synchronized his running stride to the rhythmical pop song Scatman when breaking the 10,000-meter world record. Studies show that music can act as both a cognitive and physical stimulant, especially when the music has a personal meaning to the individual. For athletes who suffer from pre-competition anxiety, music can be used to enhance mood, self-esteem, and confidence. Even during competition, music can narrow an athlete's attention, diverting focus away from sensations of fatigue. In studies of athletes using music, those who listened to pop songs during training or warm-ups had higher heart rates and increased muscle power compared to those who trained without music. Furthermore, because music can trigger emotion, it was documented to enhance mental imagery, a technique in which athletes picture themselves mastering a sport before competition. This state of mind is crucial for all athletes, particularly before major events. Funny enough, coaches even withhold music from athletes sometimes as a motivational tool. Athletes are told they can use music during training sessions only once they have reached a specific productivity level. So which music works best? Almost all findings found that listening to music, period, regardless of composition or speed, enhanced performance compared to no music. However, music with an upbeat tempo of greater than 120 beats per minute yielded the greatest improvements. Science says, make a pump-up playlist full of your favorite upbeat songs of the times and blast the competition away. Don't forget, we have a new video out every day during the Olympics.
It is a desert peninsula located in the Pisco province in the Inca region on the south coast of Peru. It's here where Peruvian archaeologist Julio Taylor made an amazing discovery in 1928. What he found was a massive and elaborate graveyard containing tombs filled with the remains of individuals with the largest elongated skulls found anywhere in the world. Now, they've been known as the Paracas skulls, and in total, Tillo found more than 300 of these elongated skulls, which are believed to date back around 3,000 years. Now, they took a DNA analysis of one of these, and it's been some time, but now the results are back, and expert Brian Forrester has released preliminary information regarding these enigmatic skulls, and what he has to say is pretty crazy. Let's see if they got a statement right here. He says that it has mitochondrial DNA with mutations unknown in any human, primate, or animal known so far. But a few fragments he was able to sequence from the sample indicate that if these mutations hold, they are dealing with a new human-like creature, very distant from Homo sapiens, Neanderthals, and others. So he's basically come out and he's got the full interview right here. I'll leave a link so you guys can check it out. But it's interesting, I believe, because what's different with these skulls than others is that the shape of them is different because of the volume. Now, people can go back in time and look and see where they've shaped their heads with boards by binding and flattening, but that's always shown that they've changed the shape.
I think we're in on here. Especially the announcement of him as Deputy Prime Minister, and you've seen some of my notes on the troubles in the marriage right now, so we're trying to read really fast on where he is on this stuff. But I think your argument to him, which you need to make, I think that's the next phone call we want to set up, is exactly the one you made to Yachts. And I'm glad you sort of put him on the spot on where he fits in this scenario. And I'm very glad he said what he said in response.
Good. So I don't think Cleach should go into the government. I don't think it's necessary. I don't think it's a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, I guess... You think, what, in terms of him not going into the government, just let him sort of stay out and do his political homework and stuff. I'm just thinking, in terms of sort of the process moving ahead, we want to keep the moderate Democrats together. The problem is going to be Tony Book and his guys, and I'm sure that's part of what Yanukovych is calculating on all of this.
I think Yachts is the guy who's got the economic experience, the governing experience. He's the guy, what he needs is Cleach and Tony Book on the outside. He needs to be talking to them 4 times a week. I just think Cleach going in, he's going to be at that level working for Yatsenyuk. It's just not going to work.
Yeah, no, I think that's right. Okay. Good. Well, do you want us to try to set up a call with him as the next step?
My understanding from that call, but you tell me, was that the big three were going into their own meeting and that Yachts was going to offer in that context a three-way, the 3+1 conversation or 3+2 with you. Is that not how you understood it?
No, I mean, that's what he proposed, but I think just knowing the dynamic that's been with them where Klitschko has been the top dog, he's going to take a while to show up for whatever meeting they've got, and he's probably talking to his guys at this point. So I think you reaching out directly to him helps with the personality management among the three, and it gives you also a chance to move fast on all the stuff and put us behind you. behind it before they all sit down, and he explains why he doesn't like it.
Okay, good. I'm happy. Why don't you reach out to him and see if he wants to talk before or after?
Okay, will do. Thanks.
Okay, I've now written, one more wrinkle for you, Jeff.
Yeah.
I can't remember if I told you this or if I only told Washington this, that when I talked to Jeff Feltman this morning, he had a new name for the UN guy, Robert Seri. Did I write you that this morning?
Yeah, okay. I saw that.
Hello, everybody.
He's now gotten both Seri and Ban Ki-moon to agree that Seri could come in Monday.
So, Tone, as you left, the shit didn't record. It is still not recording. So. Every show we've done is live, though, so anybody who's listened to it live can hear it.
Yeah, but it ain't gone.
No,
definitely not.
I think we just
I think we're going to end it after a couple of
This nor'easter's fucking up our
Nah, it's not even the nor'eastern, and
again, the fact that
I said it on one of the shows. I'll say it again, just in case it does record.
In my mind why
the slow, the latency, and the amount of time it takes to load up. That's AT&T. There's no doubt in my mind that this is Spreaker when it doesn't record the shows. Yep.
But anyway,
and then the internet is AT&T, so punching all the
So let me work on
Clinchco,
and if
so we'll play a couple more clips.
I think we want to try to get somebody with an international personality to.
I would refer you to the State Department. I mean, I think that Assistant Secretary Nuland has been in contact with her EU counterparts, and relations with the EU are stronger than ever. And there's no question that we are working, Assistant Secretary Nuland, who has a lot of experience in this area, and our ambassador in Ukraine, with the opposition and with the government to try to help de-escalate the crisis.
How concerned are you that a phone call like this could be out there? It's supposed to be private conversation, very candid conversation, it appears, between diplomats.
Well, if you're talking about profanity...
No, I'm not. I'm talking about, I mean, they're speaking I'm actually not talking about profanity.
So you're just talking about...
Well, I mean, for instance, Victoria Nuland in the call appears to prefer one opposition candidate over another, saying she doesn't think it's a good idea that a certain...
Well, I'm not going to comment on the content of... I would say that since the video was first noted and tweeted out by the Russian government, I think it says something about Russia's role, but the content of the conversation is not something I'm going to comment on.
Saying Russia tapped this phone call?
I'm not. I'm just noting that they tweeted it out.
What does it say about their role? Sorry.
Refer you to the State Department.
Private conversation now does appear to be public. Is that really the stance that should be taking?
Again, I'm not going to discuss
one candidate over another?
I'm not going to discuss the conversation, Brianna. What I can tell you is that the Assistant Secretary and our ambassador and others have been working
as a U.S. national team athlete, I signed a contract every year with the U.S. Swedish Association, and that contract stipulated what I could and couldn't say, how I should use my media time. Essentially, I was being trained to be a spokesperson for
great phone service.
No, I would say thanks Verizon for making all my Olympic dreams come true. The realization of my American Olympic dream is enabled by Verizon. So that's kind of the line. Kind of defines how an athlete talks about their relationship to Verizon. Of course, it's not always that specific line. But during the Olympics, of course, you take on another range of sponsors, the sponsors of the U.S. team in general, USOC sponsors. And
Olympic Committee sponsors.
Yeah, the U.S. Olympic Committee sponsors. And so then you become a spokesperson for those sponsors as well. So, the sponsorship relationship and like the sponsors themselves are contingent upon the actual event. World Cup settings, Verizon was the main sponsor.
Show starts in 8 minutes. Yum, yum. It's time for a tasty and refreshing snack. promise to satisfy your hunger, your thirst, your sweet tooth. So visit our refreshment.
So yeah, I got
center
these
now.
little old school drive-in. These kids don't even know drive-ins in town. So they're the little interludes. We're gonna do this for our fourth podcast that we're gonna have, where we break down 2 movies in a day. At this rate, we'll be lucky if we can fucking do any. I know, man. This is crazy. Well, the clips are recorded. I'm just not sure if our voices are being recorded on Baby Recorder's behalf. So we'll upload it on the GoldenDebateShow and GoldenDebateShow. We ain't really done, but we're just going to do a half a show right now.
This radio station day and night. This station and hundreds of other radio and TV stations throughout this part of the country are pooling their resources through an emergency network hookup to keep you informed of all developments. The
other guys, what they look like, I don't know.
Golden Show. All thoughts and opinions are solely that of the host, guests, and sources, and is only to keep people alive. Golden Show. EarlyMorningMob.com.
As everyone knows, rainbows usually have a treasure at the end. Let's follow this one. See if we can find the pot of gold.
I suppose you've come to claim the treasure.
Well, we'd like to see the gold first.
All that talking like that, all that. Your hook, golden gold, strobe lights, late lights, looking like gold, tripping tonight, happy shit, one more, talking, nervous,
Whatever you are, you don't character I do.
You know what's coming after that? Golden Show, golden robes, golden boss, golden spokes, golden what?
Show starts in 5
Science.
minutes.